Hey friends, Megan McIntosh here. Welcome to this video. Sorry if I'm a little bit later than usual. I was actually chatting with my friends. We're trying to organize a day to go out for dinner and I didn't realize what time it was. And I was still on Messenger and then my niece messaged me. I'm like, I gotta get going. So thank you for hanging in there and waiting for me, and I appreciate you if you're on here live. If you're watching the replay, you probably didn't notice I was slightly delayed today, so thank you as well for watching. So today I'm going to talk about marketing and kind of marketing secret, an ingredient that maybe you're missing in your brand strategy and why it's really important. It could be, that secret missing link that will help you really stand out and showcase who you are in a way that influences people. So if you're there, say hi, drop a 1 down below in the comments if you're watching right now. Drop a 2 down below in the comments if you're watching the replay. There's this piece of hair that's bothering me. It's very cold. It's very cold now, so I'm wearing a turtleneck, long sleeves, so much far away from the summertime. There you go. And okay, I wanted to talk about this topic because I picked up 2 binders that I've had in one of my closets because I keep these binders that I've over the years collected information on marketing and brand strategy just from my previous career, and I've put it all in a couple binders, and I just felt like I'm gonna go check out what's in those binders. I haven't seen those binders for a while. I'm gonna be putting together in the new year courses on sales and content creation, so I like to go back to those binders to see if I'm missing anything. And I happened upon this article that I started reading. It really drew me in, and I wanted to share what I learned, or rather relearned, because I've read this before. But sometimes when you go back to things that you've learned and you just retake the information in, it really sinks in a bit deeper. So I wanted to tell you about this because it is so important, and it's something that we know this is what we need to do, but we don't always do it simply because numerous things, the money, the cost of it, maybe not really knowing how we want to brand ourselves or have ourselves come across online, not really knowing the brand strategy that we have. So before I go deep into it, it really is about brand strategy. It really is about the look and the perception of how you come across online. So first off, this is a report that I got. It says it was like $179. I have no idea if it was even that much money. I bought this back in 2005. Many of you know that I got into life coaching back in 2010 or 11, but I had been studying internet marketing, strangely enough, since the early 2000s, because I was in sales for so many years, and I would go to the bookstores and buy books on sales management and leadership and persuasion and marketing. And so I don't know if I bought this as an ebook or how I got this, but however I got it, it's from 2005. But the information is still valid, and I kept it in this binder this whole time, and because it was just, it really hit me when I read it. Now the guy that wrote it, his name is Dr. Joe Vitale. He's also a really good copywriter, so that could be why I was drawn into this article again, because he just has a way with words and he knows how to write in a way that's influential. And I think obviously copywriting, learning how to copyright is really good for marketing. And this was probably written back in the internet marketing days when you would go online and have these long sales pages, right? I don't know if you remember that or if you've ever followed anybody back in the day of Frank Kern. I don't know if you remember that guy's name, but there's so many internet marketers, and what's his name, Eben Pagan, and a whole bunch of guys that they would promote their products, their online products, using these almost like a white page, long sales pages. They were more like long sales pages. They weren't as beautifully designed as they are now with people's branded photos on them. It was more about the copywriting, right? And Dan Kennedy is another guy that is incredible, and he's been in internet marketing for a while and a really excellent copywriter. And he's one of the founders of, you know, copywriting and getting. Sorry, I just got a text. One of the founders of really teaching people this idea of persuasion marketing, the idea of being able to write copy in a way that makes people persuaded to buy. Sorry, even though I got off the chat, we're basically chatting to find a restaurant to go to for my birthday. So even though I got off the chat to do this live, they're still chatting back and forth. So I'm getting all the chats coming through and I'm not sure how to turn that off. So if I'm just flicking my finger up, that is why. So yeah, so there was a time when people would buy information products with long white pages online that had all text, black and white text, and it was almost like a sales letter, right? And they would sometimes send that sales letter to you, or you would have an opt-in page, you would opt in, and then they would send you something in the mail. I definitely have something from Frank Kern that I've bought in the past, and Dr. Joe Vitale. I'm assuming that I bought this back in the day because I must have printed it off. I have no idea. You know, I bought so many different products back in the day, but this one is about the man. It's called The Man in the Golden Helmet, right? Or the greatest, deepest, darkest, and most powerful marketing secret of all time. I mean, how about that for a title? If that's not convincing to want to read on, I don't know what is. And it says, an introduction to Buying Trances, a new psychology of marketing by Joe Vitale. And it's basically a confidential special report by Dr. Joe Vitale. And it says reproduction forbidden, so I'm not going to tell you the whole thing. I definitely quoted him, but I'm not going to be printing this off or putting a PDF in here. I'm just going to give you excerpts if you want to learn more about this. He's written a lot of books on marketing and buyer psychology, and so if you're interested in buyer psychology and why people buy, he's one of the guys that knows about this. He's been doing this stuff forever, right? Since the early 2000s, maybe even before that. So, because it's so funny, he says something here, author of way too many books to list here. And it's just really I have this, I'll just take it out of my binder, but it really is just this this report that he charged $179 for, and it's 17 pages. I mean, I don't know if I got something else with this. I must have, but it like literally, it doesn't matter how much you spend on something. If something is well marketed, it will increase your urge to buy, right? If you have something that's been written well or has that influential, that it factor, you're just gonna want it, right? You're just gonna eat it up. And so the idea behind The Man in the Golden Helmet, this article that he writes, the 17-page, in a sense, I guess it was a PDF newsletter, is a special report in a sense. He's all about hypnotic marketing, okay? This is his brand. He has hypnoticmarketinginc.com and MrFire.com. I'm not sure if those web links are still working, but if you go Dr. Joe Vitale, I'm sure you can find out about him. But it's really, like, I just love the writing, and just listen to this. It's just so seductive and so convincing that you want to read more. It's like the following, dear reader, the following is a special report, introduces you to an advanced marketing concept, not for the faint of heart. I urge you to read this with an open mind. It reveals a tool that could cause the birth of everything from new businesses to hot trends to mind control cults. Please use this information for good. So if you read, literally that's one paragraph, and in those lines, there are so many copywriting secrets that I'm just gonna talk about briefly. But I mean, the idea of a special report, right? There's power words that you can use in selling. So in sales, I used to have at my desk, and I still have it, but I just use the words anyway because I know so many of them, that are power words in sales, where there's certain words that you can use that are convincing, that persuade people to buy, like the word now, the word today, the word special, right? He used special report, right? A special ebook. So this is the idea, is that you want to use words that inspire people. That he doesn't mind that I always answer her, so I feel like, where is she? Okay, all right, the other thing I want you to hear in this languaging that I loved is advanced marketing, right? So it's not just any type of marketing. It's not just, marketing 101. This is not just marketing 101, right? This information is coveted, right, by the top marketers when you hear that word advanced. So advanced marketing concept, not for the faint of heart, right? This is for people that want to go dig deep. Another thing is, I urge you to read this with an open mind, right? So making you already thinking about, oh, I'm ready to read this. I'm going to open my mind. I'm going to learn more. It reveals a tool. Now, the word reveal makes you think that there's a secret behind something, right? Reveal is actually a very powerful word to use. It's almost like another word that he hasn't used here, but I also know as a power word, is the word discover. That's a word that is also piques the interest of the reader or the buyer. So reveal is a tool that could cause the birth of everything from a new business to hot trends to mind control cults. Please use this information for good. So he's basically like setting the stage that what you get in this report is something that you're never going to see. You've never seen it before. Make sure that when you get this coveted information that other people don't have, don't use it for bad things. Use it for good. It's that important, right? And so I want you to, anytime you read something, anytime you buy something, I want you to really listen carefully to the words that are being written on the page, written on the sales page, written in the post, that are making you convinced, right? There's something that I've learned in a copywriting course that's called value statements. It's what I teach one of my clients, well, all my clients, but I mean, it's one of the things I teach my clients is what I was trying to say. And a value statement is a way to sexify, in a sense, like make a sentence sexy of buying something. You put benefits in it. You make something important seem exciting. So whenever I'm selling a product or a service, I might have like 3 to 5 value statements, giving that one-liner of why someone should buy something, like the 5 tips that you're going to learn and that kind of thing. So it's, sorry, I get this Good Foods order to me, and which is a meal delivery kit, and they just texted me saying they're on their way. So I can't wait. It used to be, because I've been ordering them since COVID, and I go from different meal ordering kits from HelloFresh to Good Foods to Chef's Plate. And usually Good Foods used to deliver at 10 a.m., 11 a.m., but now for some reason, I guess maybe it's busy, they don't get to me till after 4 or 5 p.m. So it's kind of a pain, because I was like waiting for Tuesdays to get them and thinking I'd have food, and now it comes at the end of the day. But anyway, at least they remind me when it's coming. That's good, right? So I can go and check my box and get it off my patio. So, okay, I just wanted to go a little bit more into what is he talking about in this report? What are the techniques that he mentions that you might want to think about using in your business? And I actually didn't even mean to go into the copywriting techniques, which is literally one thing that he's doing throughout his whole report that you want to think about, which I love teaching people on copywriting because it's something that I am a writer. That is one of the things I also do. And I really love the importance of words and understanding how much power words have. One of the things that I am consistently trying to do is make my own presentation, the way I speak, the way I write, more powerful every time I do it. Now, some days, of course, I'm a little bit lazier than other times, but I have been trying to take more time when I speak, slow down so that I erase and eliminate some of those extra words like the ands, the ums. I do know that I say those words. I do know that I use those too. It's almost like a buffer when you're thinking something. So if you're able to pause and take that time, you're actually able to get the message across in a way that is more concise than having all those filler words. So I want to just find the piece in here. Where is it? Let me find it. Okay. I don't want to read the whole thing. Okay, so this is the ultimate secret. Okay, here it is. Basically what it is most of marketing is perception. That is the underlining case that he's trying to say in this whole report. And he's saying, yes, you have to have a good product, and yes, you have to be able to stand behind your product and have benefits and proof that it's working. But if you are perceived in a way that is not influential, if you are perceived in a way that is incongruent with who you're trying to sell to, they're not going to buy. And so it's really about people's perception of your product, of you, of your service, and being able to create a perception so that people actually buy. And so he mentions here a couple of really good examples. So he says this, is that consider this. This is what he says here. Rembrandt's painting was perceived to be great while it was perceived to be by Rembrandt. As soon as it was discovered to be a fake, interest in the paintings dropped. It was no longer perceived as valuable, even though it's a masterful painting and still hangs in an art gallery. Another example he gives is his friend who could not get his boss to read his book he carried in because there was no framing for the book, right? It was simply a book, but it was really unknown. It didn't have like, a cover, anything that made it look like a real book. So even though his friend had written a book, it wasn't perceived by his boss to be an important thing to read. And so the idea is, we as marketers, we as people who are selling things are able to create that perception, to change that perception as well as control the perception of how we come across, how our product is showcased out there. And you really need to know your branding. You want to know, okay, who am I reaching out to? Who is my audience? And what is going on in the marketplace right now with that audience? So I was talking to, yesterday I went to visit this new Sri Lankan restaurant that opened up in my city, and I was interviewing the entrepreneur that opened it, and I was asking her about the restaurant and how she decided upon the name Saffron. So the name of her restaurant is Saffron. And I said, how did you come up with that? Because there's many different spices in Sri Lankan cuisine. And she said, the obvious choice to name our restaurant would be cinnamon, because cinnamon is used quite often in Sri Lankan cuisine. But she said we wanted our restaurant to have a spice that was luxurious, that was coveted, that was kind of an expensive spice. And saffron is known as like that higher end spice. And so that's how they ended up calling their restaurant Saffron, right? They have other reasons as well, but in the end, they wanted that perception of their restaurant to be known, because she said, we use the highest quality ingredients, and when you're having curries and different cuisines that are specifically Sri Lankan dishes, those are going to have so many different spices. So she wanted the idea that we are buying the most high quality spices. So what is one of the most high quality spices you can buy? One of the most expensive spices you can buy that is in the Sri Lankan cuisine, and it's saffron. And so that was the idea, is that people would realize, okay, that is very consistent with the marketing message she wants to have across. And so I think what you want to do is you want to look at your industry, whatever you're doing. I'm in coaching, and what I do is I look at other coaches' brands. I think this is really important, because if you want to compete with people who are doing the same thing as you, you need to know what market are you competing in? Are you competing as a luxury? Are you competing with premium prices? Are you competing with lower prices? And the people that are charging premium prices, what does their brand look like, right? Are they using specific colors? Is there a specific look to the way they're presenting their offers and their services? Like, this stuff is very important. And unfortunately, it is important. I mean, in a sense, it would be great to be just known by our merit and just known by our skill and our expertise, right? This is what he mentions in this book, is that wouldn't it be great if it was just we were known by our product? But unfortunately, it's not the case, right? Someone could be just as good as what you do, and you might even be better than them. But if you're not being perceived as being a luxurious brand, that's all I have for you today, because I am going to grab this call, because otherwise she's going to keep calling, I know it. But I mean, I think I've put the point across. It really is you need to think about your brand strategy is who am I going to reach out to, and what is that aspirational identity that they have for themselves? What do they want to achieve, and how do I represent that in my brand? Is it within my brand colors? Is it the way I put myself across? Is it the way I speak? Is it the way I write? Is it the way I'm putting my photos out there? Is it the way my website is designed, right? And if you at any point look at your content and look at the way you're putting yourself across or your brand across, and it doesn't really express really who you are and how you want to be perceived, then you really need to do a brand audit and understand that, yes, you can get away with graphics that are subpar and imagery that isn't the best. You can get away with it. You can still get clients with that if you have a lot of relationships and a big network. Believe me, it is possible. Like if you have a huge network and great relationships with people and you're really good at sales and know how to reach out with people and build relationships, you don't even need to worry about marketing. But if you're thinking, I want to do this, I want to build my brand, I want to build a brand that is representative of the type of people I want to work with, then you need to understand the idea that people are going to be judgmental. People are perceiving you a certain way. And so you have to show up as that higher level version of yourself. You have to invest in maybe brand photos or photography, or a way that you're going to look at your whole brand, or the way you even present yourself, so that people take you seriously. And this is what happens when you get higher in the levels of your industry, or maybe you want to get more niched in what you do in a more luxurious level, or in a more or you want to charge more elite prices and higher prices. You have to think this way. Otherwise, you're going to be wondering what you're doing wrong, and you're going to be basically not getting clients because people are going to be perceiving you a certain way. It is unfortunate that people judge a book by the cover, right? They do judge. People are judgmental. It's just the human nature. People, want to see something in a certain way, and they buy things because, hey, it makes them feel better, or maybe it makes them become that person they want to become. And it is sad, because I wish the world wasn't this way. I wish that you could just give your gifts, speak your truth, show up and give as much value and be who you are, as true as you are, and be based on your merits. But unfortunately, if you have a business to run, you have to market that business, and you have to show up in a way so that people perceive you as a certain way. And as the industry, whatever industry you're in, I mean, every industry is getting more competitive and more competitive. You have to think about all these elements that you have to put into place. Otherwise, if you don't understand sales, then marketing, you have to rely on your marketing. That's why I love to help my clients who are either just starting, or even if they have their own business, because if you know how to sell, this part is a little bit easier, because it's not about that look that you have to have in the marketing. It's more about how you come across. And what's beautiful about that is in selling and building relationships, as long as you're friendly, and as long as you can make someone laugh, and as long as you're real and authentic, that shines through in a one-on-one relationship. And so you don't necessarily have to worry as much about your marketing. But most people nowadays want to attract clients with just marketing, right? Most people do. They are like, I want to get money on the internet, and I want to make money, and I want to get coaching clients, and I want to do it because I'm a marketer, right? It just seems to people that that's what they want to do. And so I do teach both. I do teach marketing and sales, but I do know that a lot of people just want to leverage marketing because they don't want to build relationships or meet new people or do the sales part, because it's scary. It's scary getting to know people. But I say that it's getting more and more competitive. So if you are just going to rely on your marketing, you have to understand this idea of perception, and that people get influenced, and people are buying through influence and buying from that aspirational identity. And so you have to figure out those audience members that you're trying to attract. What is it that identity they're looking for? What is that identity they're looking to buy from? So that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really enjoyed speaking to you today. And if you're interested in coaching with me, I would love to get on a call. I do a 30-minute sales strategy call, which is absolutely free. And you come in and we have a great talk, and I look at your brand, and I look at what you're doing in your business, and we can find out, are there any bottlenecks that you have? And I can walk away with 2 or 3 tips where you can take away and really understand your brand. Like when I do videos like this, it's more general information, but when I do a call one-on-one with you, I can really look deeply at your brand and at your business and find out, hey, have you tried this? Have you thought about that, right? So that's what I do. And my coaching is really based on three different important things. So one of them is influence. So helping you with your marketing and selling. That's the number one thing, is influence. The next thing is your intuition, and that really comes down to your mindset and energy in terms of getting yourself out there and continuing to do it and really have the mindset as well as the energy to do it. And the last piece that I look at is your innovation. So I'm all about creativity and leadership and innovation in your marketing and your selling, and understanding what are the trends, how do you get yourself out there when there's a competitive market, how do you innovate, how do you do things differently than other people, how do you create your own methods, how do you create your own frameworks, how do you put your message across in a way that literally separates you from other people. And that is really starting to think about your thought leadership and your proprietary content and your proprietary ideas and creative entities. So it's really about your influence, your intuition, and your innovation. Those are main 3 things that I work on with people. So thank you so much for watching. Definitely send me a message if you're interested in that, and I'll see you next time. Bye.